The land doesn't forgive. The land doesn't forget. And when you take from it ... it always takes back. The darkness lingers, pressing heavy on the screen. Slowly, the faint rumble of machinery grows louder. A drill begins to turn deep in the earth, its metallic groans stretching out like something alive and hungry. Sparks scatter in the night as rough silhouettes move across the rig. We never see faces, only shadows, boots scraping across steel, gloves gripping rusted rails, helmets catching the faint glow of firelight. The wind whistles across wide-open land. Empty, endless, unforgiving. It carries the smell of smoke and oil. Though the audience cannot smell it, they feel it in the raw tension of sound. A single boot steps into a puddle of black oil, the liquid rippling like a warning. The frame cuts sharply to an empty cowboy hat tumbling across the dirt, caught in the gust. Then, silence. Thick, unnatural silence. Out of the dark, the faint image of a pumpjack fades into view, its giant steel arm rising and falling like a slow heartbeat. The camera lingers, and with every motion of the pump, the sound of a heartbeat grows louder, syncing with the rhythm. One beat, then another, heavy, relentless. Each beat echoes like a warning that something is coming. The shot shifts to a desolate oil field at dusk. Machinery towers over the landscape, their outlines jagged against the fading sky. Flames leap from a flare stack, illuminating the land in a sudden burst of orange and red. The fire dances wild, uncontrolled, casting long shadows across the dirt. In that light, we glimpse broken tools scattered in the mud, a torn work glove half buried, and a truck door swinging open with no driver in sight. A low, steady voice cuts into the silence, calm yet sharp like a blade. This land remembers everything you take. And everything you owe. The words hang in the air, heavy and haunting. The imagery grows faster, sharper. A chain rattles in the dark. A steel door slams shut. Sparks fly as metal clashes, but the camera never reveals the source, only the aftershocks, only the aftermath. The land is painted as both a prize and a predator, alive with a hunger of its own. The screen cuts back to black. The heartbeat slows. One last image bursts forward. A single match strikes against stone. The flame flickers, fragile yet fierce. It burns bright against the dark, then is snuffed out in a rush of wind. Words crash onto the screen. Landman. Season 2 returns November 16th. The beat stops. Silence. Asterisk. The land is quiet at first. A wide horizon stretches across the screen, painted in burnt orange and shadow. Dust hangs heavy in the air, drifting slow, almost motionless, like time itself has paused. Then the silence breaks. The grind of an engine roars to life. A pickup truck speeds down a dirt road, headlights cutting through the haze. We never see the driver's face, only the firm grip on the steering wheel. Veins tight against the skin, knuckles pale from pressure. The camera shifts. A hand slams down on a stack of papers, contracts scattered across a table stained with whiskey rings and cigarette burns. Fingers tap impatiently, the rhythm sharp and threatening. Another hand reaches in, trembling, uncertain, before being pushed away. A deal is being struck, but not one built on trust. The camera lingers on a handshake, brief, forceful, then broken too quickly. The tension is clear. Allies today, enemies tomorrow. Somewhere else, a pair of worn boots rest on a porch rail. A half-empty bottle sits beside them, condensation dripping slowly down the glass. The shadow of a figure leans back, watching the sun sink into the horizon. The silence is not peaceful. It is heavy, almost suffocating, as if the weight of decisions made and debts unpaid is pressing into the air. The stillness breaks when a gunshot echoes faintly in the distance. The bottle rattles against the wood, but the figure does not move, cut sharply to a bar lit in dim yellow light. Cigarette smoke swirls like ghosts above a crowded pool table. Rough hands grip pool cues too tightly, as though the game itself is a battlefield. One player slams the cue down, breaking the silence. Glass shatters on the floor. Chairs scrape. Shadows move closer, the crowd closing in. The sound of a fist meeting flesh rings out. The camera never reveals faces, only the violence of motion. The thud of bodies against tables, the crack of wood splitting under pressure. The land outside is no safer. A child's swing creaks in the wind, abandoned in a backyard layered in dust. A door slams shut inside the house, followed by muffled shouts, then silence again. The camera lingers on a family photo turned face down on a shelf, the glass cracked across it. The message is clear: what happens in the oil fields does not stay there, it seeps into every home. Every family, every relationship. The music builds low drums, heavy and slow, echoing like distant thunder. Over the rhythm, a single sentence cuts through, spoken as if carved from stone. The drillers, the hustlers, the dreamers, the fighters. Images surge in rapid flashes, a gloved hand counting wads of cash, the bills stained with oil. A woman's silhouette standing at a window, blinds casting prison bars across her face. A deal sealed in the back of a truck with a briefcase snapped shut. A man gripping a hard hat, his hand shaking as if he doesn't want to put it on. The tempo quickens. Every image is more desperate, more fractured. A truck spins out in the mud, headlights catching the glint of a rifle barrel. A chain-link fence rattles in the wind, a warning sign half torn from its post. Danger. Keep out. Someone ignores it anyway. The section swells to its breaking point when a pair of hands, one strong, one frail, clutch at each other in the dark. Not a gesture of love, but of survival. Then, as quickly as it began, the montage halts. Silence returns. A single line drops like a hammer. Every choice carves deeper into the earth. Every deal carves deeper into the soul. The camera pulls back to the land itself, endless, untamed, waiting. The heartbeat sound returns, faint but steady, promising more to come. Black screen. Text fades in slowly. Landman Season 2 returns. Nov. 16. The silence lingers, daring the audience to breathe. Asterisk. The calm before the storm never lasts. A flicker of fire bursts across the screen, an oil flare erupting into the night, flames whipping upward like a serpent tasting the air. The ground trembles beneath the roar, rattling loose stones and shaking a rusted fence until its warning sign falls to the dirt. The silence of Section 2 is gone, replaced by chaos that grows heavier with each beat. A door slams open. Heavy boots pound down a hallway. The camera follows close only. The sound of breath, ragged and sharp, fills the space. The figure grips a duffel bag, zipper half open, revealing stacks of cash jammed inside. A sudden cut, the bag slams onto a table, spilling the money, bills fluttering in the air like dying birds. Another hand reaches in to grab it, but before contact is made, headlights flood through the window. The figures freeze. The next image comes hard and fast, a truck fishtailing through mud, spinning out of control. Tires spray dirt like shrapnel as the driver jerks the wheel. The truck slams to a stop just inches from a ditch. The sound of an engine roars, then cuts, leaving only the hiss of steam rising from the hood. The door creaks open, and a shadow steps out, shoulders hunched, fists clenched, ready for something we cannot yet see. Inside a warehouse, a fight explodes. Chains rattle as one body crashes against them, sending sparks flying from the metal. A wrench falls to the floor, clanging loud, echoing like a gunshot. Another shadow moves fast, fists flying, wood splintering under the weight of impact. The camera refuses to give clarity, faces blur, details smear, only motion, chaos, and violence remain. The sound of a scream is swallowed by the clash of steel. The music surges. Drums pound faster. Strings tighten higher. The world feels like it's spinning too fast. A quick montage floods the screen. Flames shoot from a rig, black smoke swallowing the sky. A locked safe slams shut, dust bursting from the edges. A bar door crashes open, figures stumble out, fists swinging, neon lights flickering above. A single bullet casing falls to the ground in slow motion, ringing out as it spins on the concrete. A child's toy lies broken in the dirt, one wheel still turning, then silence again. The camera cuts to a field at night. The pump jack rises and falls, steady, relentless, like the rhythm of war drums. The silence is broken by a whisper. Every drop comes at a cost. The pace accelerates again. Shattered glass. Screeching tires. A safe door blown open. Shadows running through rain, mud splashing up their legs. A table flips over in a crowded bar as chairs fly, and the chaos swallows everything. One image sears into view, a fire tearing through a trailer, The heat bending the air, the smoke black and merciless. A single silhouette stands in the distance, watching. Not moving, not helping. Just watching. The heartbeat returns faster now, louder, each thump echoing like it might burst the screen. On the final beat, words appear, glowing white against black. And this season. The price is blood. The heartbeat stops. Silence. A single match is struck. The flame flares bright, then is tossed onto a trail of gasoline. The screen fills with fire, engulfing everything in an instant. As the blaze consumes the frame, shadows twist and writhe. Faceless and unending, the fire fades to black. Text surges forward. Bold and unforgiving, Landman Season 2 returns. Nov. 16. The music slams shut, leaving nothing but silence, heavy, final, absolute. The screen is black. A low hum builds in the distance, so faint it could be the sound of the earth itself groaning. Then bang, a shotgun blast tears through the silence, echoing into the night. For a moment there's nothing but ringing in the ears. High and sharp. The camera cuts to shadows running through rain, heavy boots pounding against wet dirt. Lightning cracks across the sky, splitting the horizon into blinding white and black. For an instant the storm reveals everything, oil rigs towering like iron giants, smoke curling from a flare stack, a highway stretching endlessly into darkness. Then it all disappears again, the music rises, pounding like war drums. Every beat feels closer to collapse. Images fire across the screen like sparks, a hand slamming a briefcase shut, locks snapping into place. A bar fight spilling into the street, neon signs flickering above. A knife glinting in the glow of a truck's headlights. Flames tearing through a shack, glass exploding outward. A lone figure gripping a rifle, shadow stretching long across the ground. The storm rages louder. Thunder shakes the frame, lightning cuts again, and the screen floods with fast, violent cuts. A fence rattles loose in the wind. A pair of hands struggle to hold on to each other, then slip apart. A truck roars through the mud, sliding sideways. The world feels unhinged, chaotic, spiraling. Then dash silence. One single line cuts through the void, clear and unrelenting. You think you own the land? The land owns you. The words hang heavy, echoing as if spoken by the ground itself. The silence shatters. Music slams back in, faster, harsher, louder. The screen floods with fire, deals made in shadows, fists striking, glass breaking. Every image is sharper, more desperate. The ground itself seems to tremble under the weight of greed and violence. A final montage accelerates like a heartbeat on the edge of collapse. A hand covered in oil reaching up from the dirt. A trailer exploding in fire. A truck's headlights locking onto a lone figure standing in the rain. Cash spilling into the wind, disappearing into the mud. A steel chain snapping in slow motion, the music cuts. The heartbeat stops. Darkness. The camera lingers in silence for a breath that feels too long. Then one last image, the pump jack, rising and falling in the dead of night. Each motion creaks louder, heavier, until it sounds less like a machine and more like the tolling of a bell. The screen flashes white with fire, then drops back into black. Bold text appears, LANDMA beneath it. The words carve into the dark like stone. Season 2 returns November 16th. The Paramount Plus logo glows into view, sharp against the black, and finally, a closing line rolls out slow, deliberate, almost whispered. As if the land itself is speaking, this land changes everyone. The screen cuts to silence. Nothing remains.